Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Whiskey and Wisdom. It's before dark. The time changed, so the sun's still out. But been about 3 or 4 weeks since we've done this. But welcome back. Sitting here with Donnie Nolan in Tennessee. I got Russell. My man Russell is in his hometown, his brand new home, with that big giant $50 million pillar behind him. Congratulations on the new build, buddy.
Thank you.
He's no longer a Bastropian. He's now officially at home full time. But guys, it's good to be back. I know we've been away for a while, but there's been a lot of stuff going on. We got JLove. He's coming in. He's run into a couple of accidents or traffic's got him. Anyway, we're kind of all over the place, but we're going to try to get something going for you guys here today. First of all, Donnie, let's get back to normal. What are we drinking tonight?
Well, for me, I'm drinking Weller Special Reserve, and I was going to go grab a Coke Zero to chase it with, and didn't have any. I guess my little shithead kids have drank all the Coke Zero, so I'm chasing it with a Moscow Mule.
Wow.
So let's get toasted.
Cheers. Cheers. Hey, Russell, I saw you had a wife beater. What are you drinking over there?
Oda Holmes. I didn't wear my wife beater and my Dickies, but I do have Modelo Chelada.
Well, I kind of figured,
in honor of all the guys that built my house.
Yeah, Russell's been working on his house for the last 3 months. They've adopted him as a Mexican. So congratulations over there, guys. I am stuck on just clear liquor. I've been, the vodka and the tequila, that's about it. Still trying to lose a little weight and get my life back in order. But cheers, welcome back. We've got an FMK tonight, or two, I think. We're going to jump back in that. We've got a new little thing going on here, and we're going to call it Donnie's Joke of the Week. We're tired of competing with Donnie because he never laughs at our jokes, even though they're fucking hilarious. He never laughs at our jokes, so we're going to give Donnie his joke of the week. He's going to have his own little joke of the week. Hope you guys enjoy that. Share it with everybody because he didn't like my jokes. And of course, my jokes are kind of like, why does a mermaid wear seashells? Well, because she grew out of her bees. You see, that's fucking hilarious. So that's why I'm not telling the joke of the week, Donnie is. But anyway, guys, what I did today, Donnie, I know you got a couple of topics. I talked to you today, Russell. I started with the Wall Street Journal, went to the Dallas Morning News and the LA Times. I'm going to read out some topics. You guys stop me if you got any input or if you want to just laugh about something. But the Wall Street Journal, the front page of the Wall Street Journal, Cuba to host secret China spy base focusing on U.S. So Beijing agrees to pay Havana several $1 billion for allowing them to set up an eavesdropping facility about 100 miles from Florida. That's on the front page news of the Wall Street Journal. $1 billion so they can set up. So if it's a spy thing, I don't think they're doing a good job of covering it up because it's already out in the news. I don't know how that works, but also, I thought this was interesting. I didn't know this. Y'all probably did because y'all follow politics more than I do. The Supreme Court blocks GOP-drawn Alabama voting map. So the ruling upholds a lower court finding that the Republican-controlled legislature dispersed black voters into districts dominated by white citizens. I just thought that was interesting. It's just the kind of shady shit that goes on. And then Russia forcibly removes Ukrainian children, undermining. So they're moving thousands of orphans and young people separated from their parents. They've been taken to Russian territory and placed in foster homes there. Like I didn't know that shit still happened, but didn't that happen? When was it, Donnie? We were talking about there was a great reset or something. I think it was in London or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they take away a bunch of children. England was deserted. And then they came back 30 something years later, repopulated. Seems like they're trying to do the same thing here.
I mean,
And
it's happened in the past in different civilizations, especially when there's war going on and one country decides to take over another and go from there. It sucks, but it's just part of,
well, it goes back to, doesn't it go back to like biblical days when they went?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Board of every family or some shit like that. I just didn't think. I didn't think that.
You didn't think it would happen in modern times, right?
Yeah, that's.
Hey, but pedophilia still happens, so what can you say?
Well, that's true.
Did you see Mel Gibson's doing a 4-part series on that? On
No.
the child trafficking? Yeah, he's doing a
Really?
4-part series. I was like, God, Mel's living on the. He's like,
living on the edge.
Come get me.
Dude, he wants
Next on TMZ, Mel Gibson found dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he'll be living next door to Jamie Foxx.
Right.
Like I would imagine. I don't know how he can get away with that. I mean, that's anti-Illuminati. That's anti-left.
Yeah.
What he's doing. But he did, what was it, The Passion of Christ? He didn't make that movie.
Passion of the Christ.
So that's crazy. In Dallas, impeached Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton didn't discard millions of mail ballots. So he admitted to election interference, right? But he didn't cover his paper trail, or he didn't burn up everything that he needed to do. So is this kind of like what they're trying to get Trump on?
Well, no, that's completely different. They're trying to get Trump on basically just secondhand conversations, telling his people to look into what happened in Georgia, and the thing with Ken Paxton, I should know more about this than I do, but as you said, I've been kind of out of the loop for a while. But the Republicans are turning on Ken Paxton, which kind of makes you think there might be a there. But when you're talking about election interference, I mean, the other side is the main culprit in that. But I think if Ken Paxton did do what they accused him of doing, he should be gone. No matter what political affiliation he has, right is right and wrong is wrong. It's just the rules only apply to one side.
I got you. Another headline over here is 95% of gun violence occurring in inner cities. It's false. 95% of gun violence is occurring in the urban centers, out in the suburban area, out there where I guess where we live, Russell. I guess they've been hiding. I don't know if they've been hiding it or what. Telling them that it's the inner cities that's causing all this gun violence, but it's really sounding like it's the good old boys like us that's doing this. Also, Governor Greg Abbott cut mental.
I'm sure that's what they'd like you to believe.
Well, that's what I'm
but
saying.
Think about it.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say anything.
It says Governor Greg Abbott cut mental health funding by $211 million. Does that sound right? How can a Texas governor cut $211 million from mental health funding? Did you hear about that?
That's crazy.
What's your news source?
Oh, this is the Dallas Morning News. These are headlines in the Dallas Morning News.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so it's probably, I don't know too much about it, and you got to consider the Dallas Morning News is a very left-wing affiliate. It's probably some bill that he blocked or vetoed or something, and it took out some funding, and this one of the many things in a bill, and they isolated that one thing and said, oh, yeah, it's just like when Republicans say, hey, we want the debt ceiling to be, we want to cut the deficit. Oh, they're trying to cut your Social Security. No, they're not trying to cut your Social Security. They're just blocking the other $1 trillion that they're trying to spend on bullshit. So it's the same thing.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Well, I didn't. It wasn't so much the headlines and what the headlines were about for me when I was reading this. It was just the difference in what these two markets are reporting. So, Wall Street is more of what's going on in the world news. Dallas is really focused on Texas, which makes me think. Still, we think that we can recede. Still, we think we're our own country. It just seems like we're isolating ourselves from the rest of the world as far as the news goes. I don't know. You tell me. You know more.
Well, obviously it's like I said, the Dallas Morning News is a very left-leaning paper. It's like the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Washington Compost, and they're going to focus it on local things because they're bullshit. If they can regionalize it and make it, isolate it to Texas or isolate it to Dallas or isolate it to the Midwest or whatever it may be, they're going to focus on those things to push their narrative in that region. So yeah, it makes total sense that they would do that.
Gotcha. I got
and
you.
I'm sure, I don't know anything about Tennessee, and I'm sure Donnie could speak to this, but I don't know what the paper in Nashville is, but I'm sure because it's a big metro area, it's probably run by Democrats too, or Memphis. And it would be the same thing if you went to, I don't know what the Memphis or the Nashville paper is, but it'd be the same shit.
Yeah, you get, the media is overall left leaning. I mean, it's where the money's at. I mean, the corporate sponsorship and media corporations are owned by Murdoch and a couple other hard left leaning people. So I mean, you're going to get that as your primary source of news. There's dissenting views. I don't pay much attention to any printed media anymore. It's too top to bottom dictated, meaning, control the narrative. I mean, we're seeing it right now in New York. Hey, stay inside, don't go outside. Fires are coming in from Canada. It can cause respiratory disease and COVID and everything else. And I'm like, what? I mean, didn't we learn anything? And I get it. Air quality is awful up there right now, and I hate it for those people. But the news is telling you it's much more horrific than it is. I mean, people that have been in forest fires and hello, person that's waving at us. I bet that is a BR Brandy Renfro.
That's her.
Brandy Renfro.
Why is her name Burr Brandy?
I think it's just abbreviated for, I'm on her work laptop. So
yeah.
So her work trop's Burr Brandy.
Hey, have her drink like 3 or 4 beers. Come back with your accent.
Yeah, I'll have her drink like 7, 8 beers.
Does she shotgun beers?
Yeah, we want to hear the accent.
Wait, does she shotgun beers?
I didn't hear.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said, Donnie.
I said, can she shotgun beers?
Yeah, she can shotgun a beer.
Prove it. Prove it with one of those Michelados.
No.
Modelo, look at her.
That don't mean she can shotgun a beer. That means she can dance and put red on.
No, give her 5 or 6 beers.
I promise you, she puts the she puts the neck in redneck.
That's all right. I put the red in redneck.
Yeah, he's got red there. I was talking to Coach about that today, and we're going to talk about Bert Kreischer a little bit. And the reason that razzle dazzle cracks me up so much is when he's talking about his wife Leanne. That's her.
Oh
like,
yeah, she's Alabama.
Somebody else hoe down and she falls on the ground. I'm like, God dang. You know,
That's me.
Yeah.
yeehaw, you son of a bitch pile of monkey nuts.
Oh man, yeah. So I think Russell told me that she gets drunk and to say Russell's name, she uses like eight different syllables or something.
Yeah,
like
Russell.
That's funny shit.
Yeah, she's
So
country for sure.
let's
Which is it's hilarious.
Russell, we talked about it a little bit in Glendale, California. School board got together and designated a school board in Glendale, California got together and designated June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. And they had a bunch of Muslims come up there and raise hell and beat the shit out of these people. I mean, it got violent. It got absolutely violent. Adam Schiff, the Democratic congressman who represents Glendale, said the continued acts of violence and hate towards our LGBTQ community is horrific. We will not apologize for celebrating the strength and diversity of our LGBTQ community. The continued acts of violence is horrific.
Can they hear you?
And I agree. It's horrific. It's bad. You shouldn't be violent.
Your AirPods on here.
But also,
you can't hear.
Why are you pushing this down my kid's throat?
No. Is it connected?
If this were to happen, what's going on? Oh, if this were to happen,
I couldn't hear my audio.
If this would happen in my school with my kids, how do you not expect me to get violent when you're going to let your son go in the restroom with my daughter at a fifth grade level or a sixth grade level? I mean, I'm not about the violence at all. But these are people just pushing their fucking agenda where it doesn't have to be.
It's California, dude. You gotta. Here's how crazy California is. Old Navy, headquartered in San Francisco, has now closed all stores in San Francisco, citing shoplifting, because California has now passed a law saying you can't stop a shoplifter from leaving your store if you are employed by said store. What? You can't detain them or stop them to get the police in. It's against the law now. So
Donnie,
if you shoplift and steal from my store and I detain you, I go to jail. California has lost their fucking mind. So Old Navy said, that's all right. We're headquarters here and we can't move yet, but we're just going to close all the fucking stores.
Well, did y'all hear the story related to that, Donnie, about Lululemon? They had a Lululemon store, and I don't know exactly where it was, where an employee tried to stop people from shoplifting, and they fired the employee for trying to stop
two of them,
shoplifting.
Two women.
And they're out defending themselves.
Yep.
Just crazy. There's all the businesses are moving out of those cities because they crime.
It's not just a city; it's a whole damn state. California is a mass exodus right now, and you've got bills in front of their legislature that have insanity written on them. I mean, you're talking about, there's one out there that's like $15 million for reparations per person. Mm-hmm. $15 million per person. That would cost the state, I don't know, $72 trillion.
More, yeah,
like
10 times the national GDP.
It's double the GDP.
Oh yeah. Like, well, and Coach, to touch on what you're asking about, what happened in California was what you said Muslims. Well, they're actually Armenians, which they're Muslim, but they're not like the Allah Akbar type Muslims. They're the big giant people from Armenia. And they wouldn't let the school board flat out wouldn't let these parents into this school board meeting, and they're trying to pass all this trans stuff, basically. And then they come outside and Antifa's out there. Well, these dudes don't play around. You don't fuck around with Armenians.
No.
And that's what happened. They beat their ass. And I'm a little different from you, Coach. And I said this to you at lunch today. And I'm probably going to catch some flack for this. I love it. I'm all for the violence. If these people want to keep getting in your face, if they want to keep messing with, if you mess with my kids, I completely advocate for violence against these people. They need to be put in their place. They need to be shut down. They want to shut down my free speech. I need to shut their mouth down. And I completely support being violent with these people. If you mess with my kids, I'm going to hurt you. And I fully support what those people did. And I hear the other pundits, the conservative pundits, oh, we don't think violent. Bullshit. Stop being a pussy. That's the problem. That's how we got in this position. People being pussies. Stop running from a fight and start fighting back. And they'll stop this nonsense. And that's where I'm at on it. Because if it happened in my town or in your town, or if it was your daughter, Rick, like you said, well, you're going to be up there whooping somebody's ass because I know you. And you would be advocating for it too. And I've got small children still, and I think it's great. I think the fact that Bud Light is going in the shitter to the tune of $20 billion, Target's going down the shitter, the fact that parents are starting to beat the shit out of these people, great. Let's keep it going. That way they want to be so big and bad and talk so tough. Well, let's find out, because we outnumber them, and people seem to forget that.
Donnie,
And that's the thing.
Donnie, why in the world are we cowering down to less than 1% of the population that, I mean, because let's face this LBGTQ thing. I mean, they're less than well, I don't know. I don't want to fuck up the facts, but it's not 2 or 3% of the world of America's population.
No.
I mean, there's a lot more Mexicans and blacks and Jews and Muslims and everything else than that. Why do we cower to those people? Why is America doing
that's a very good question. And here's why. It's not that we're cowering to those people. We're cowering to the people behind them, because the people behind them control a lot of the advertising money. Because think about it. Soros's funds are hard left. I mean, super hard left. And he's funding a lot of the media. He's funding a lot of the corporations that are doing this stuff. So like Target, he owns a big share of Target. He owns a big share of the Anheuser-Busch Corporation. And they have what's known as a social credit score for industry. And it's based on how inclusive. So they're doing things like this. And it's the most ironic part is this. The left started the cancel culture. If you remember, oh, you're not going with us, cancel you. You're gone. You can't have a platform. You can't have money. You can't have an income, nothing. Well, then the right said, okay, if that's how we play the game, let's play the game. Yeah. So we start, all right, we're just not going to buy. We're not going to boycott Bud Light. We're just not going to buy it. Well, guess what? We were the main consumers of it. A lot of older white women are the ones that go to Target, and they're just not going anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They see that money drop and they start bitching about that. But now the left is changing tactics. It's death. It is murder. It is kill you if you don't go around. If you didn't see it, Alexandra or Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, whatever, how you pronounce her name, she had a parody account on Twitter that was fucking hilarious. Everybody that read it thought it was funny. I mean, it was somebody that was really funny that was making fun of her. It was like things that it was on that account were like, I don't understand. The solution to getting out of debt is just to print more money. So why not put a money printer in every house? That's not something AOC would really say, but it's pretty fucking funny, and it's something you could imagine her saying.
She might say that.
Pissed and wanted to get it banned, and Elon was like, "I'm not only going to ban it, I'm going to promote it. I'm going to retweet it," which made it worse. And then she threw a fit about it, and the parody account said, "It's okay, I'm still not going to date you," which made it. I mean, just went viral. They doxed the account. I think they had 10,000 death threats in 2 hours. and people were showing up at this person's house, so they deleted the account. I mean, now it's changing. Now it's almost a Nazi symbolism of, if you don't fall in line, we will kill you. We will just kill you. And that's when it gets really scary. But you got to remember, the same thing happened with Nazis. They weren't the majority. I mean, they were not. They were just the controlling party, and they had all the guns. So that's
that might not work so well here.
It's not going to work well here because of that. But if they ever get to that point, and you've heard them say it, I mean, the government has said it. Well, would you point your gun at a soldier if he came to your house to take your gun?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
I would.
Not only me, but everybody living in my house.
Well, and a lot of those soldiers.
But they want to say that to portray you poorly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I just want to say this though, because we talk about this subject a lot, like about the LGBTQ community. I think gay people, lesbians, some of those people are the nicest, most physically responsible people on the planet. So I don't have a problem with Pride Month. I don't have a problem with your rainbow T-shirt. I don't have a problem with any of that. The problem that you run into is when you tell me if I don't identify you a certain way, that I'm a bigot or that it's hateful, or that if I don't let you indoctrinate my children, then there's something wrong with me. Leave the kids out of it. Leave me out of it. Do you, boo? I don't care. Do whatever you want. I have some very good friends that are in that community, but there's a lot of them. And when you're talking about that 1%, Rick, that 1%, that's not all of them, because there's a lot of people in that community that don't support any of this bullshit. It's probably 1/10 of 1%, because a lot of people in the gay and lesbian trans community don't support this nonsense and get it.
You're correct.
And so I don't have a problem. Like I used to drink Miller Lite. People are like, you shouldn't drink Miller Lite because they had a pride themed bottle. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. That's fine. I don't care.
They are the number one sponsor for the gay and lesbian rodeo in the state of Texas. Big fucking deal. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But it's like what you're saying, Russell, if you're going to throw it in my face and try to indoctrinate our kids, that's when we have a problem with it. Hey, Donnie, I wanted to talk to you about this. I started watching, I think it's on Apple TV. It's a series called Newsroom with Jeff Daniels. Okay? Jeff Daniels of Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, he's a big time anchor. He's one of the biggest anchors in the world or whatever. And it's a real, it's really a really good thing, a really good show. Anyway,
okay.
So he gets to a point where he's telling the news opposite of the reason why he got into it. You know, journalists are different. They're different animals. You know, they go to college and they're going to dig and they want the news and they want the big, and they're after the truth and the truth. Well, he's there and he's doing it 30 years, and he looks up one day and he's like, man, I'm not telling the news. I'm telling the people what they want to hear, what they want me to tell them to hear. So he's like, we're going to start telling the news. And he apologizes on air. And so then him and his crew start reporting the news the way it is. And so now, and I'm in the middle of this series, so now they're after his ass, trying to fire his ass because people are pulling out, advertisers are pulling out. They're not giving them the money that they're used to making. They're losing advertisers left and right. You know what I mean? And so it's so real life. It's so real life to where he's telling the news and he's telling it the way he wants it. You know, like he's telling you, hey, there's 1% out there that we're cowering to, or this is happening, or that's, and regardless of left or right, regardless of it, but then he gets these advertisers that are pulling money, and now the big wigs in the corporation are like, you need to report the news the way we tell you to report news, and he's giving them the big middle finger. And it's just, to me, from talking to you guys today, it seems that's real life. You're not allowed to report the news the way it is. You're allowed to report the news the way we tell you, or we're pulling our money, and you're not going to be millionaires.
Oh, I mean, that's probably how it is. I mean, I don't know it because I'm not an insider, But if you look at somebody like Tucker Carlson, who has bucked the system
Yeah.
and gotten fired for it, you know, maybe that's true. I mean, I hope that, I mean, and here's the other thing. If you look at people that have started different ways to disseminate news on Twitter or Reddit or whatever the thread is, I mean, there's different ways to get news out there that's true and still make a decent living. You know, you're not going to be a millionaire with a subscription to a Twitter file or whatever, but you'll have your integrity, you'll have your honor, and I think that's huge. I mean, I want to see more of it. You know, instead of if you haven't seen the video, there's a video out there that literally people tell you the exact same story, and I mean it's a NBC or ABC thing, and it's like, hey, read this, but you know, it goes against like narratives. It's like, hey, we're a small town company. We would never lie to you. We would never tell you things that aren't true. Don't believe disinformation. But it's every freaking local channel says it. You know it's, and they say it at the same cadence. That's the scary part. Like
that's the fucked up part.
Pause here for dramatic effect. Like,
hey, welcome everybody.
Get the hell out of here! Like,
hey, check out.
That's not creepy at all, buddy.
JLove,
what's up, bro?
What's up, fellas?
Oh my God!
I am so fucking sorry. I am so sorry.
You have blessed us with the golden hair today.
Huh?
You have blessed us with your golden hair today.
Yeah, you see that?
You and your hair. It's one of the most beautiful things I've seen all day.
That's
damn,
no.
Rick. Why are you giving him shit over his hair?
I'm not. I'm giving him a compliment. Donnie, if me and you could grow hair like that, we would.
Man, I grew hair like that. Now I got back to short.
You know what? I'm looking to go back to short because it's just too much. And
that was me. I couldn't handle it anymore.
You know, I used to have fucking long ass hair, all one length down to the middle of my fucking stomach, and just it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
you're not 20 anymore.
Yeah, it got to my shoulders, and I was like, this is, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get out of the house in 30 seconds flat.
Well,
so what? Okay, so what have I missed? Are we talking about?
You missed Hooker's blow. You missed
basically all I did.
Hooker's blow. Russell was giving out free newbies. Like it was crazy.
Nice.
Basically, all I did today is I went to was it New York Times, Dallas Morning News, LA Times, and just looked at their top stories and how they report.
They're all the same.
And what they were doing. And basically it comes down to money creates the media, and you're only gonna hear what they want you to hear.
Remember that money is the root of all evil, and the evil that we all have to endure at this moment in time is the media, and it's crazy. I mean, Donnie talking about, one news station, portraying this news story, but then the same 300 other news stations are doing the same fucking story. And it's like you said, the dialogue is exactly the same. The cadence is the same. There might be one or two words off from script, but it's all the fucking same shit. It's all just one big fucking movie. It's like, the big story that popped up for me, like on Fox News and CNN, coming here, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they all popped up on my phone, Twitter, and all that shit about Trump being indicted.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's not being indicted. This is all a deflection. If you want to know who's really being indicted, that they're not saying,
Hunter Biden.
It's Joe fucking Biden. That is the person that's being indicted. But they've got to spin it in the direction to where it's going to take all the heat off of the Democratic Party. It's going to take the heat off of Pedo Joe and his, fucktard son, Hunter. Everything is coming to light. He was just fucking found, evidence found that he was guilty of taking bribery money of over $5 million. And I guarantee you that's on the low fucking side. I guarantee you that's on the low side. That he was, guilty of taking money on the, bribery money from foreign governments. I mean, this is getting nasty is what's going to happen. But I've got my popcorn. I've got my bourbon. I don't give a fuck because it's going to be interesting what happens.
Let's go.
Well, and to answer your question, JLove, and what Coach was doing, he was kind of playing devil's advocate because one of the things he was saying is that he was looking at different regions of the country, and there were different headlines, there was different top stories, but they're all left leaning. And what I was explaining to Coach, because he posed the question, was, well, why is it they focusing on this and that state and this and that state? Well, they're trying to focus on the things to fit their narrative in that state because it's more important to those people in those municipalities.
Right.
The overall story, yes, they're pushing the same thing, but they're also pushing things locally to push the buttons of the people in those regions. And then when they have a big national story like you're talking about, yeah, it's the same thing. How many times have you seen it where you can see 75 different news anchors across the country doing the same headline with the same cadence, the same pauses, it's absolutely stunning, and they use it under the guise of we're your trusted local news station. I go to the local pub. I play in the bowling league. You can trust me. Bullshit, motherfucker. We don't trust you.
Hey,
and that's what Coach was saying. What we were talking about really is why it's different, but it's the same. It's overall same. The goal is the same, and you got to give them credit. You got to give the Democrats credit for what they're doing because it's very smart that they do it that way because they have the power to do it.
So you got
don't have to like it.
About the LBGTQ, the Glendale, Arizona. That was a big headline today in California about they're calling June LBGTQ plus Pride Month at this school, right? And the Armenian people, right, Russell? Armenian people went over there and beat the shit out of these guys. They beat the shit out of all these LBGTQ members, like at the school to visit. That was a big headline over there. Where on the Wall Street Journal, here was the headline of the Wall Street Journal. Get this, I know you'd appreciate this. Cuba to host secret China spy base focusing on U.S. Beijing agrees to pay Havana several $1 billion for allowing it to set up an eavesdropping facility about 100 miles from Florida. That's headline Wall Street Journal. I'm just saying, if you're in the spy game, you kind of fucked it up. Somebody's leaking.
It is, but it's I don't even begin. There's just timing is everything. When you think timing is everything, and it's absolutely perfect that all this stuff is coming out, during an election cycle. And I mean, it'll be here before you know. Here's fucking almost halfway. So I mean, it's here before you know it. They're going to start running and gunning towards the end of the year, and it's going to be crazy. But the fucked up thing is that they're trying. I think that they are at the end of their rope, and eventually tons of individuals are going to hang themselves, maybe figuratively, maybe
literally.
But it's going to be interesting going into the last 2 quarters of this year. It's going to be really interesting as to what happens politically, socially, definitely economically. I mean, because we are in a very, very fucked up situation as far as the United States is concerned. I mean, we're already $33 trillion in debt. And then these people on the left, even those on the right too. And, for those of you out there listening, I don't lean to one side or the other. I find the common ground and I decide from there.
They're all crooks.
Exactly. But on both sides of the aisle, it's just they're hooping and hollering that we did something good by raising the debt ceiling. No, we didn't. We didn't do a fucking thing good, because all that we did was increased the debt that we already fucking owe. So this is like going and getting rid of that credit card that you had at Best Buy for $5,000, and well, now you got one for $10,000, but you never paid off the first one. So it's just increasing, and it's getting worse. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. How can we keep printing money that we don't even have? It's absolutely amazing. And the fact is that all these fucking retards that still believe that the Ukraine is an actual war, I mean, we've been funneling these people billions and billions of dollars for over a decade. Putin of all fucking people was trying to make right years ago, over a decade ago, and say, look, there's some shady fucking shit going on in the Ukraine. We need to put a stop to this shit. And it like Donnie and I have said time and time again, and even Russ, it all comes back to the children.
I'm glad you brought that up, because hey, here's another thing in the Wall Street Journal, dude. It came out that Russia is taking all these kids, thousands and thousands of kids out of the Ukraine. They're taking them to Russia and putting them in foster care. They're taking all the children. They're just going to take them all and put them all in foster care.
A couple of things. Russia declared today victory in Ukraine. I don't know why. I mean, I don't see it, but Putin had a big speech and he basically declared victory. And maybe he completed his objective. I don't know what his objective was.
A lot of it, Don, have alluded to what Rick just said.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was it. Here's the question. I mean, and we're talking, since we'll dive into politics here. There's a lot of backbiting already on the Republican side. I mean, with Christie joining and DeSantis and Trump, and I mean, they're basically at each other's throat already.
Uh-huh.
Where Biden has got pretty much Kennedy and nobody else. The question is, who is going to step up? I mean, that's the question. Who's going to step up and lead and not get into this backbiting? I mean, so far DeSantis hasn't done it. Christie's done it. Trump's done it, of course, and stuff like that. But you're seeing all these politics happen and all this backbiting and so many different things going on right now with the fires and the UFOs and all this other stuff. Is that all for show? I mean, JLove loves talking about the movie, but what's the plot? I mean, are we missing the plot? Like, what's coming down the pike right now that we're not seeing?
I don't. Well, I'll tell you what it is, and I'm going to agree and disagree with JLove at the same time. You're talking about, who's going to get indicted. Yes, I believe that they are going to indict Trump, probably 2 or 3 more times for different frivolous things. And the reason they're doing it right now is because they have to indict Hunter Biden. And so they're going to do it at the same time. What do you think that everybody's going to be paying attention to? Are they going to be paying attention to Hunter Biden, which we've known has been guilty for years, and we've been saying it for years? Or are they going to focus on Trump? Look what happened in New York a couple months ago. Everybody, Trump's indicted, a president being indicted for a crime. That's why they're doing it. It's the sleight of hand. And as far as, like Ukraine, I've been saying this for a long time. I'm not so sure we're the good guys in this situation, because the Biden crime family and the Democrats have been having their honey holes and their disease control centers and all this other shit that they're doing in that country for years. And Putin rightfully said, "Hey, y'all need to look into this. This is not okay." And I don't know about the adoption thing. I do know that they did evacuate the entire country to Poland, basically, at the beginning of this. I don't know how many children are actually left in Ukraine. So it may be much to do about nothing. I don't think there's that many children left in the Ukraine right now. All the men had to stay. But I think that's what's coming down the pipe. They're going to indict Trump, and they're going to indict Hunter Biden. and they're doing it to distract, to take your eyes off of Hunter Biden, who actually did something wrong.
For sure.
Thousands of orphans and young people are forcibly separated from their parents. Thousands of them. So, I mean, that's all I read. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Sure, and that may be true. That may be true, but Russia's not winning that war. They've lost like half a million people, soldiers in that war. They haven't won nothing.
Well, the only reason you have war is to make money, right? And political correctness.
Well,
you don't go to war to win.
Let me jump in here real quick.
Okay.
Two things. One, yeah, Russia is invading Ukraine, and we're definitely a silent partner in it, or however you want to call it. But the question remains, like, is it because we want to make money because we're the industrial war machine? Or is it also because we want to inherently test the waters, per se? I mean, I'm not a massive conspiracy theorist, but we have in production the NGAD, the Next Generation Air Defense System, which is the 6th generation fighter. We want to know how good it is. We haven't sent any aircraft over there that we know of, other than drones. And we have been known to make a drone look like a C-31, and it got shot down. Have we been testing the waters to see what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, just so that we know where our NGAD is sitting? Because we just retired the F-22, which was by far the best air-to-air combat vehicle we had. And we wouldn't retire it if we didn't have full faith in something to replace it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If you hear somebody with a F-22 pilot talk, they're always like, big brother over here, F-35 is really my bitch.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to those pilots, and they all say kind of the same thing. That Raptor is a bad motherfucker, you know, and you can believe me or not, that's up to you. But the question is, are we doing it to test the waters? Are we saying, hey, how bad is it? How good is it? Where we need to make improvements, things like that. Because if you are going to make sure that your next generation air defense fighter, which is going to be in production for 20 plus years, is good, then you need to know its boundaries and limitations, because you just took back your ace in the hole. I mean, now, was the Raptor 30 years behind in technology? Yes, but it was also 30 years ahead when it came out. So it's kind of at an even platform.
Donnie, I've been a ball player my entire life, and I've been a coach the other half. So what you're telling me is basically we're using this war, I use the term loosely, as a scrimmage to see if our quarterback's ready to throw the bomb.
There you go.
That's it.
Hey, this is preseason. What's the real game?
Yeah. So
what's the real game? The real game isn't Russia.
So
it's
let me ask you
China.
this. Let me ask you this. How do we make money after we've sent millions and billions of dollars to Ukraine already?
Oh, it's real simple.
Well,
I mean, all of those things that we're sending to Ukraine, are they up to date, or are they out of date?
They're out of date.
Well, out of date. And how do we dispose of them? We have to pay to dispose of them, or we can sell them and make money to ourselves. We're basically selling them to ourselves. We're giving them money, hundreds of $1 millions, and they're buying the equipment from us. So it's a paper trail. It's a shell. You've seen it. It's called the shell game.
But they're using my old helmets and my old shoulder pads instead of my new shit.
Right. You know, I mean, it's not a war. I mean, there is a war going on, but I don't think it's the war that everyone sees on television, because that's not it.
Yeah.
It all goes back to these children. I keep preaching that, because that's what it is. I mean, the Ukraine has been a melting pot for pedophilia and satanic rituals and child sacrifice for decades. I mean, we could go back to the 50s and 60s, if not longer. And we just keep funneling that and keep feeding that. We keep feeding that evil by in ways like this, like Donnie's talking about. I mean, it's not that we're, I don't, how do we make money, or how do we get the money back? It's hard to do that when we are now the world's biggest bitch. I mean, anyone can bend us over at the drop of a dime and fuck us in the ass with no Vaseline. That's where we are as a country, sadly. And it's absolutely insane, where we are. And if we don't do something about it, and this goes back to voting, and to writing your constituents and your local congressmen, this, that, and the other. It starts at the local level. We all know that. And the local level, even here, is corrupt as fuck. In small town BF fucking E, our local level politicians are corrupt as fuck. And sure. It just goes from there, and it just keeps escalating, and it keeps escalating, and it keeps escalating. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I do keep saying that it is a movie, because what we are witnessing is a movie. I don't think that everything that they are saying on your mainstream media, I don't believe any of it. I find my news elsewhere, and I find my sources elsewhere. I still tune in to see what they're all chiming in about, and it's the same fucking canary in the coal mine. They're all saying the same fucking shit, but sure. It's classic deflection. I think that there are bigger things coming. And I think and again, I say this over and over again, but I think when the shit hits the fan, there is going to be a shit ton of fucking people that will not be able to stomach the reality. They will not be able to stomach the truth, because they've all been lied to for so fucking long, and so mind fucked for so fucking long, that when the truth does come to fruition, when the truth does set us free, like the Bible says, it's going to be biblical. It will. It's going to be biblical. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be like, what in the fuck just?
That's a great segue. That's a great segue. I'm not going to get into all of this that I came up with today, or that I read. I told these guys I went to the religion news service, and the one thing that stuck into my head, the sociologists and these professors and stuff of religion, the number one headline was, and I'm going to leave it at this. After this, we're going to an FMK. Russell, get ready. Is there's a book written. It's called Beyond Doubt.
Talk about fucking
doubt. Beyond Doubt. The world is losing its religion. Revival is unlikely. They said modernization creates problems for religion. They've already took it out of our schools. They've already took it out of our homes. It's a process of differentiation, or the separation of religion from government, and rationalization, or the emphasis on modern scientific ideals that seem dramatic drops in the level of religiosity. Further, they argue that once countries undergo these processes, the likelihood that secularization can be reversed and religion regain its footing is very, very small. So the end is near. I believe what you said. It's going to be biblical. We've already lost footing in that area. I don't think we get it back. I don't think we're strong enough. And the biggest thing is, I don't think we give a shit enough, because we're letting the 1% of the world dictate what's going on. And unless we are like the Armenians in California, like Russell said, stand up and start beating the shit out of these people and start beating some sense into them, it's not going to happen.
Well, because the 1% of the world is powered. The one that you speak of, the 1% of the world is powered and influenced by an even larger evil,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's what's fucking scary.
Exactly. Next week, I'm gonna get my ducks in a row, JLove, because next week I'm gonna go down the lineage of the Rothschilds. The lineage goes back.
Oh boy.
Oh, you don't.
No.
Yeah.
Man, that's a deep well.
You
Whoa,
don't want.
I ain't got time
to
for that.
Roman days, dude. These people are evil. They're the devil. They're satanic. That's the 1% that's running this world. So you think we're really going to turn it around and religion's going to come back and we're going to thank God for this? No, these people are brainwashing everybody. I mean, they're just killing us one after another. But we'll get to that. I like that wormhole. I think we want to go get into that a little bit next week. I know I'm excited both of y'all.
Keep in mind that the biggest divider of any country, any nation, province, state, whatever the fuck the case may be, the biggest divider or the biggest division in that, and the biggest nemesis, if you will, it always boils down to religion or politics. Because wherever religion or politics, there's always going to be confrontation. There's always going to be backlash. There's always going to be the violence and the negativity. But sadly, that's where we've came as a nation. I could give two shits or a fuck less about anyone else. I'm more concerned about anything and everything that happens within the confines of my own state and within the confines of the borders of my own fucking country. Yeah. Everybody else fucking infected AIDS dick. I don't give a shit. But my country, that's what I care about. And we've just, again, back to the 1%, we've let the 1% influence so many, because again, for so many years, they've been mind fucked to believe in this certain idea and to push this agenda and to push this agenda and to push this agenda. Yeah. But everything that's been good and has been wholesome and pure and loving, they want that the fuck out of there, because that doesn't fit their agenda. They want chaos and destruction and violence and mayhem. And unfortunately, we as a society, everyone on this fucking podcast, somehow, somewhere, we've been guilty of falling prey to that. And it's sad. We've got to come back to center, and we've got to realign our chi, whatever the fuck it is, and we just need to start stepping on fucking throats. Period.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get into that again some more next week. I like that. Russell, you got an FMK for us? Let's break it up a little bit.
We go from talking about religion to fucking chicks.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, well, dude, this one should be good, but I can't hear Russell. Russell, I can't hear you. What happened?
I don't know. He went dead.
Randy Renfro.
He went rogue.
He went rogue.
All right. Hey.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Okay,
I can hear you.
Let's go, baby.
All right.
Let's go.
So, I want to thank you guys very much for turning me on to the show Suits.
Oh, dude.
I love that show. I binge watched all 9 seasons in about 2 weeks because
is that.
Huh?
Red.
All right, let's roll. FMK, we're back.
Okay, sorry about that. So you got Sarah Rafferty, who plays Donna Paulson, the redhead. Then you've got Katherine Heigl, who plays a high-profile attorney named Samantha Wheeler. Yeah, we're just talking about looks here, JLove. And then we've got Amanda Scholl, who plays Katrina Bennett, who's also an attorney. And there was a movie back in the early 2000s called Center Stage where she's like a ballerina.
Wait. All right. Go back. Donna, Katrina, and who?
Samantha Wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
The last, you know what I'm talking about? The last 2 seasons.
I know who Samantha Wheeler is.
I'm ready.
I
I'm ready.
got-
I'm ready.
All right, go, Coach.
I'm gonna fuck Amanda as often as I can. I only get one, but I'm gonna fuck Amanda. I'm gonna marry Donna, and I'm gonna kill Katherine Heigl. Simple, easy, done and done and done.
I'm with that. I'm the same. Hey, I'm going to bang this Amanda chick, and then I'm going to kill Katherine Heigl because I bet, you know what? I bet her vajayjay smells like fucking stale corn chips. And I'm going to marry the redhead girl, even though I'm going to marry her. She'll probably kill me in my sleep, but I'm still going to marry that chick.
That's so awesome, though, dude. I love sleeping with one eye open. Donnie, what do you got?
Man, y'all are crazy as hell. I'm marrying Katherine Heigl like nobody's fucking business.
Oh, geez.
Like, she's a bad motherfucker. I'll then bang. Sorry, let me kill Donna. Bitch knows too much. I can't handle that shit. And then I'll bang the other blonde. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm marrying Katherine Heigl. She's a bad motherfucker. I don't know.
Oh, she really is.
All right, Russell.
Well,
I agree with you.
This was really hard for me, but I'm gonna marry Donna because she's just beautiful.
Nobody but me.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
The redneck is back.
I'm gonna marry Donna.
You got put under the bus.
I know.
Wow.
I'm gonna kill Amanda Scholl.
Hey, guess what? It's time to pour another.
Yeah, and then y'all know what I'm gonna do with Katherine Heigl. So
No, we don't. What are you gonna do with Katherine Heigl?
Bro, I done
shut up, Coach.
I done poured a third. This is another. It's a 3-finger. I got 2 4s and a 3. We gonna get.
Hey, JLove. So we're gonna give Donnie his own little section here every week because Donnie never laughs at any one of our jokes because none of us are funny.
Your jokes are like.
So Donnie
like
gets his own. He gets his own.
I mean, they may feel good, but they still hurt.
Donnie gets the joke of the week every week. Okay, so we can rate it. I want us to rate his joke from 1 to 10.
Our own jokes because I have a good one.
Okay,
all right. Let me hear yours. Let's hear his
All
first.
Right.
Okay. Russell, we'll rate their jokes. Okay, me and you will rate their jokes every week.
Because for the record, I think me and Coach are the only ones funny on this podcast.
Me too. Thank you. Go ahead, JLove.
That was stupid.
Your joke.
No.
Come on.
No. Fucking Russell.
You hadn't even told it yet.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, y'all might be, but Donnie and I. Well, Donnie's the good-looking one, and then I'm a filler. So, my joke.
That's a good joke. I give it a 9.5. Russ, what do you think?
That's what she said.
So a DJ, right? The DJ had a son. What was his son's name?
I don't know.
What was his son's name?
Yeah.
I don't know. What was his son's name?
BJ.
Every.
All right.
He laughed.
That's my kind of stupid fucking joke. Okay, go ahead, Donnie.
All right. So a woman gets on a bus. She's got a baby.
This is already
Holds the
stupid.
baby. She gets on. The bus driver says, man, that's the ugliest baby I've ever seen. The woman looks at her. She goes to the back of the bus. She's furious. She's sitting there fuming. She tells the guy next to her, I can't believe the driver insulted me like that. I'm going to go up and tell him my name. I'm gonna give him my shit. And he goes, okay, I get it. Let me hold that monkey for you.
That was stupid.
Okay. I'm gonna make your joke.
Now, hey, wait. I got another one.
No. You had your shot. No.
I know, but this was from my son.
Russell,
This was from my son.
Listen, Russell.
My son.
Listen.
My
No,
son-
hold on. That joke would have been better if he'd have started a black woman walk.
Well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
And then
Hey, my son wanted me to tell you this. His
Monkey.
name's Drew.
No.
So Drew said, "Dad, you got to tell him my joke." I was like, "All right, Drew, I'll tell him." He goes, "Hey, when does a joke become a dad joke?"
Okay.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh.
And I
Yeah.
think
My
Drew
son,
wins.
my son with the jokes.
He
All right.
wins. He wins.
Yeah, he gets a seal clap for that.
All right. So Russell, here's what I got.
Yes, sir.
JLove. I get to give your joke a 5.7. Donnie gets a 5.5. Donnie's son gets a 6.3. I think Donnie's son.
I
We have
failed
a
this
con-
week. Oh,
We have a consensus.
I think that's the win.
I failed this week.
Yeah.
I know we're about to wrap this podcast up, but I would like to come up with a new segment called "Fuck LeBron James." on our text thread, the most frequently thing that we talk about is the comparison between the GOAT, which is Michael Jordan. I think we all are in consensus that that's the truth.
It's actually
And
Dr.
Okay, well, I'm not as old as you are, but and LeBron James. I don't consider LeBron James to be top 5, but
No,
LeBron James is literally the world's biggest piece of shit. I really,
he's
I
on
don't
it.
hope he.
Pieces of shit.
Well, I don't not only want him to lose every game he plays, I hope he blows both of his meniscus out every time he plays because he's such a piece of shit.
Well, that last
But-
series, I think the last series, last series for me, LeBron James, that last series officially knocked himself out of probably the top 8 all-time players that I would.
I don't know the top 8. I mean, let's not go crazy.
For me, I'm right in saying this because I believe this. I have 8 players that I would put in front of LeBron James all time.
I agree.
Okay.
Because all it takes is him to fuck up a team.
Well, I mean, being completely honest here, I mean, like Russ said, I mean, yes, we all know who the GOAT is. And there will never be another, but very, very, very close second would be Kobe Bryant. Kobe fan, but I respected the hell
Me
out
either.
of that. And the fact of the matter is that, I mean, if we're being completely fucking honest here, I mean, it should have been LeBron on that fucking chopper, not Kobe.
Well, LeBron put Kobe on that chopper, but let's put it this way.
That's another.
I know, but
He didn't put him on that chopper. I mean, he put himself on that chopper, but he had some fucking dirt on a lot of motherfuckers, and he was coming.
Oh yeah,
and they did not like. But we'll go there.
I hated Kobe Bryant all those years, and by the end of that guy's career, grew to have such a respect for him. He is the closest thing that we've seen to Michael Jordan. He was literally his moves, the way he played, the way he was built, the way he shot, the way he played defense, the intangibles, the mentality was a lot as close to Jordan as we're ever going to see again. And when we're talking about top players, a lot of people, when you're talking about LeBron James, bitch, Tim Duncan had more success in the NBA than LeBron James. Hakeem Olajuwon had more success than LeBron James. Shaquille O'Neal, Steph Curry. Right now, there's a guy playing in the NBA Finals right now named Jimmy Butler who could be better than LeBron James. That may be.
Give me Larry Bird. Give me Larry Bird. Other than
and Larry Bird's above LeBron James. It's the argument we keep having. This argument: who was better? Who was better? Only with Tristan that we have this argument. But here's the end of the argument: Michael Jordan accomplished more in 15 years, almost double the accomplishments and accolades in 15 years than LeBron James did in how he's been playing for 20. He's got a losing record in the finals. He lost to an underdog in the finals. He got swept in the Western Conference final. There shouldn't be even a discussion about this.
Yeah, I mean, here's the kicker. If you want to talk to the best of the best, they all pretty much say Michael. If you talk to Michael he's not gonna say he's gonna defer. But you ask him who he would like to play in his prime. He always says, I want to play LeBron, I want to play Wilt, I want to play Dr. J, I want to play Havlicek, I want to play Russell, I want to play LeBron. He goes, I don't want to play Kobe. Kobe stole all my shit. So that kind of tells you, like, you know, he knows. I mean, there's
an old saying. There's an old saying: if you know, you don't have to. You don't have to.
You have to proclaim you're the best. You're not the best.
Yeah. You don't have to talk about it. You can just be about it.
Did you guys see the rookie quarterbacks? There's 4 rookie quarterbacks, and they all sat down with Tom Brady. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
So the 4 rookie quarterbacks: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and who was the other one?
Doesn't matter. What'd they say?
Shane Falco.
Yeah, they all sat down with Tom Brady, and Tom was like, "Hey, listen, it doesn't matter if you were number 1. It doesn't matter if you were number 2. It doesn't matter if you were this, if you were that." He goes, "Will Levis, doesn't matter if you were passed over day 1." He goes, "I was 199."
No, he was past that. He was a 7th round pick. They don't even have a 7th round anymore.
Yeah, he goes, "What matters is what you do from here. What you do from here makes or breaks you. It's not about being the greatest of your class. It's about being the greatest of all time. And that's on you. That's your choice to move forward." And, you know, we kind of got off track. I mean, all of that is that whole, I mean, I know we talk about, you know, Kobe and LeBron and MJ a lot, but it's really boils down to opinions. I mean, these are all opinions.
Yeah. Well, for me, opinions, yes, but also facts are facts, numbers are numbers. And,
right.
You know, you just can't. Michael didn't flop around. Michael played injured. Michael played with a broken foot. Michael dislocated, just like Kobe, dislocated fingers. They'd go back. LeBron just called it, and he was done with it. And I just have no respect for the guy.
I don't either. And Coach, you're right.
I'm over it, guys. We've run out of time this week. I want to cover the live and PGA next week. I want to talk about that.
Talk about UFOs, bro.
Because I know we'll run out of time this week. Well, next week we'll talk about UFOs. We'll talk about the Rothschilds, the Rosensteins, and the live, because I am so glad that LIV took down the PGA and made the PGA conform and give up the money that they should. A bunch of just bureaucrats.
The fucked up thing about all this, and who predicted that this was going to happen like a year ago? President Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
he called it out.
No, that never happens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's going to be a huge
Y'all don't mind
announcement.
me. I haven't had anything to drink in like 5 days, and I'm like,
good. Hey guys, thanks for being on. Everybody, thank you for another episode of Whiskey and Wisdom After Dark. This is happy 11-month anniversary for this podcast. We've been on it 11 months, another couple of weeks.
Let's go.
We'll keep going.
Russell, come on, baby.
Thank you for all you guys that listen. Thank you guys for staying and being a part of it and all that good shit. Next week, we'll just keep getting deeper and deeper. Until then, this is your coach with Russell, with Donnie, and with JLove here in Bastrop. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. This is your coach, Whiskey and Wisdom After Dark. We're out of here. Bye-bye.